Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I started off in the Air Force as an intelligence officer. It was a ROTC scholarship that took me to Boston University. But after that, I entered the Air Force, deployed to Iraq. I served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I served in the intelligence community for over a decade, and then I wrapped up my career in the Executive Office of the President. But to really know me is to know that I'm a first-generation American. I was raised by a single mother. My story starts actually 40 years ago. November 30th, this past one, is the 40th anniversary from when my mom came to this country. She graduated from the #1 university in the Philippines, but came here chasing the American dream. She actually ended up coming here as a domestic helper because that was the opportunity that presented itself. But she wanted a chance. She knew if she worked hard, she could make it work. So not always easy for my younger sister and I. She raised both of us by herself. So reduced lunch, subsidized housing, I know what that's like, and all critical for me to be able to get an education, ROTC scholarship, and then serve my country.
Okay, so this is one of the bigger districts geographically in the country. It's one of the few swing districts really in the country. So what's the biggest difference between you and Congressman Hurd?
Well, one, I'm not going to vote against the district, right? There's that. And I have also, and it's unfortunate because Will Hurd, spent time in the CIA. You can ask him what time of day it is. He will remind you that he was in the CIA for 9.5 years. But unlike him, I have not forgotten what it's like to be a public servant, and that your real job is to serve the public, right? And make sure that, frankly, our interests are best represented abroad as well. But I think true national security, based on where I've served and my own personal experiences, true national security starts at home. Right? You can't be the national security guy and then vote against opportunities for kids to have access to healthy air. Right? You can't be the national security guy and then vote to rip away people's health care. Right? Those two things don't go together. And if you don't understand that, you don't deserve the honor to represent this district.
So tell me, one question that a lot of folks that are living here in El Paso are going to be asking is, this district is predominantly in San Antonio, and then because of gerrymandering, it comes all the way out here to El Paso. So why should people that live in the far east El Paso, Socorro, San Elizario, Tornillo, Favens, and all the areas in between, why should they vote for someone like you?
Well, one, I've got a record of public service, right? Again, I know what that means. That means you don't leave anybody behind, right? So not only, yes, 70% of the district is in San Antonio, that means 30% lives outside of the district. And to me, you don't leave anybody behind, especially in these times. We're voting on healthcare, we're talking about immigration, we're talking about education. I could never leave somebody behind because I was that person that would have been left behind had there not been good education policies, good immigration policies, right? Put good policies on healthcare. So because I know what it's like, and frankly, I've served in countries where people are left behind.
So you've mentioned national security a couple of times. So let's talk national security. What's a bigger threat to our security as a country? A nuclear Iran or North Korea?
It depends on, frankly, it depends. We're talking today. I think based on how things have escalated, you'd have to look at the timing and where things are, but there seems to be so much rhetoric actually on both sides with us and North Korea, that one, because you have two essentially hotheads, right, that don't have access to a lot of quality, this president has access to quality information. Now, whether or not he chooses to look at it and believe particularly the intelligence community that is there to serve him, versus disparage them, which he has done. I think we have to be most afraid of what could happen if the North Koreans misinterpret anything that Trump says or tweets. Right?
Okay, and my final question: you're talking to an undecided voter out there. What do you tell them?
Yeah, look, vote for the person that knows what it's like to be you. Right, vote for somebody that has the life experiences, both. A record of public service, but also the life experiences that show them the importance of ensuring that people are not left behind, and frankly, being willing to speak out and call people out when their voting record and when the record of silence is contrary to the interests of this district, right? And frankly, it's not going to take me 6 months to have an in-person town hall like it did Will Hurd, right? It's egregious that somebody forgets that if you don't look them in the eye in the district, you cannot represent them.